friends at home. Your friends here in the classroom are just quieting down. We just had a dance break, so we were going a little crazy. But we're quieting down now. We have our math books open to page 533. We are going to be starting chapter 14 today. And Austin, in chapter 14, we are going to start learning about fractions. Can you all say that word, fractions? Boys and girls, a fraction is when we take parts of whole numbers. If we think of fractions in terms of food, think about if you had a birthday cake. And it's your birthday and you have this big, beautiful cake, but you're not going to eat an entire cake on your birthday, because not only would that be really unhealthy to eat that much sugar and carbs, but it would probably give you a tummy ache. But what you're going to do, or mom and dad would help you do, is take a knife and cut a piece of the cake. So you're not eating an entire cake, you're eating a piece of the cake. That piece is called a fraction. A part of a whole is a fraction. Okay? If you had a cookie in your lunch and your best friend said, "Oh, my mom never sends me cookies and I love cookies," and you say, "Here, let me break you off a piece of that cookie," that piece of the whole cookie is a fraction. So far in math, everything that we have been learning have been whole numbers. 1, 2, 5, 500, 9,000. Those are all whole numbers. Now we're going to start talking about pieces of numbers, breaking apart whole into smaller parts. Okay? So now, if we look on page 533 at the top, it says equal shares. I want to talk to you about what each of those words means, equal and shares. Well, let's talk about what we do know. What does equal mean? If something is equal, Emily, what is that? It means the same. Exactly. So equal is a mathematical word for saying the same. If you have one cookie and I have one cookie, we have the same number of cookies. We have an equal amount. Okay, so equal means the same. Now, when we use this word shares, that's a fancy way in math of talking about the parts or the pieces. For example, if I had that cake and I cut it into 4 slices, and I gave Emily 1 slice, and I gave Amelia 1 slice, and I gave Chase 1 slice, and I gave Noah 1 slice, they would each have 1 share of the whole. So equal shares, we're talking about pieces of a whole that are all the same size or an equal size. Sorry, friends, my daughter walked in the room and we got a little disoriented, but we're back. So here it says, we're talking about equal shares. Vincent draws a rectangle with 4 equal parts. Do you see how all 4 pieces are the same? Look at this rectangle. Does this one have equal shares?
No.
His piece is bigger than mine. That's not fair. Just kidding. So equal means the same. So when we're talking about equal parts, they have to be the same size. Okay, Noah? The first rectangle is the one that Vincent drew because all of his shares or parts are the same or equal. So let's look down now at number 1. It says circle the shape with equal shares. Brooklyn, you've got to stop doing that. It's distracting. Okay, so if we take a look here, says circle the circle that has equal shares and then tell how many equal shares there are. So do you see, God bless you, how both of these circles are cut, but which one has all four parts the same? The first one, so trace that circle. And how many parts are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, so trace the 4. Now let's take a look at the second one, and friends at home, see if you can figure out which one of these is broken into equal pieces. Beckett? The first one, so circle the first one. And then Ava June, how many pieces is it broken into? 2. So there are 2 equal shares for number 2. Let's take a look at number 3. Which one of those is broken into equal shares, Brooklyn? Same size pieces. Are you looking at number 3? Do you see the 2 rhombuses? They're both blue. They're both cut into 2 pieces. Which one has the same size pieces? The first one. Good job. So circle the first one, and then there are 2 equal shares. Noah, look at number 4. Which triangle is cut into equal shares? The second one. And how many equal shares are there, Noah? 2. How many of you are like, this is pretty easy? Good, because it's going to get harder. Here we go. Johnny, looking at number 5. Somebody cut the cake into 4 pieces, so we know that there are 4 shares, but they have to be equal shares. Which one has 4 equal shares? The second one, and make sure you put on the line 4 equal shares. Connor, look at number 6. Which one has the same size pieces? The first one. And how many pieces are there?
2 shares.
2 equal shares. This one has 2 shares, see? But they're not the same size shares. So it has to be 2 equal shares, which means 2 same size shares. Landon, number 7 says that Aaron wants to share his sandwich equally with his friend Eric. So how can he do that? Slicing it either this way, in half, or it could go this way, in half, right? So draw your line to show how you want him to cut it. Make sure both pieces are the same. Now, number 8 says, Emily, how can you draw a square with 4 equal shares? Is there more than one way? There is more than one way. So we could do one way. How, Emily? Tell me.
One like that and one.
Oh, so like make a cross down the middle. So cut it this way and that way. And some mamas, when they cut a sandwich, do that. And you get little squares. When I cut a sandwich, I don't go like this. How do you think I do it, Amelia? In an X. I go corner to corner. So when I cut a sandwich in halvesies, I give out little triangles because it's more fun to bite a point.
I just do straight.
All right, so these are 2 ways, and they're equal. Do you see? You either get 4 equal triangles or 4 equal squares. Okay? Number 9 is kind of, we'll just talk about it. How do you know when a shape has equal shares? Like, what tells your brain that they're equal? Mateo? They're both the same size and shape, right? Good job. All right, let's go to the top of the next page now. This is just another reminder. We see that these shares are all equal. They're the same size. These shares are all different. You see how the green one is much smaller than the yellow, and then the blue one's a little bigger than the green, but the red's tinier. So these are the equal shares, or the same size shares. So same thing down here at the bottom. Let's start with you, Chase. Which circle has equal shares? The first one. And how many equal shares are there? 2. Emma, looking at number 2, which rectangle has equal shares? The first one. Everybody gets the same piece. And how many shares are there, Emma? 4. A cool way to think about remembering the term shares, like you get a share and I get a share. What do you call that? If you have a cookie and you break it and give away a piece, you call that sharing, right? So it's a good way to remember that when you break it into pieces, it's called shares because you're sharing it. Sharing is caring sometimes, unless it's germs. Mateo, number 3. Which one has equal shares?
Finally, it's the second.
The second one. And how many equal shares, Mateo? 2. Good job.
This is easy.
Oh, man, they're trying to trick us with this one. Number 4. Beckett, which one has equal shares?
The second one.
Is it the second one?
It was the first one. Second.
He circled the right one. He just said it wrong. The first one. And how many equal shares are there, Beckett? 2. Remember, equal shares are same size and shape. The way this one cut, I have a triangle and a trapezoid. Those are not the same size and shape.
That one is a triangle.
Okay, I've got 3 kids flirting right now, and that's confusing me, friends at home, because we're almost in 2nd grade, and 2nd graders don't flirt. Connor, just because you're raising your hand doesn't mean it's okay to flirt. Okay, number 1 on the back side of Austin. It says circle the one with equal shares. Which rectangle has equal shares? And how many equal shares are there? Bing, 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 bing. Faith, number 2. Which one has equal shares? And how many equal shares are there? 4. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, Brooklyn. Paul's garden is shaped like a rectangle. This is his garden. It's cut into 4 equal shares. How could the garden be cut into 4 equal shares? There's a few different ways it can happen. Give me one of those ways, Mateo.
So you could, put lines like this.
Okay, so we could do lines like this where we go down the middle, down the middle, down the middle, and have 4. Mine aren't exact, but you get the idea. We could do it that way. What's another way we could do it, Connor?
Or you could do it, you know how you do it like the same as a rectangle, right?
Yeah.
But it's different.
Could I do it? What's another way I could divide it? This way, right?
Another way is to cut it down straight and then make a line.
So I could do this. And I could go like a cross, right?
Yeah.
Cut it in half this way and then cut it in half that way. So now I have 4 rectangles. Yep. And there's still another way, Lily. Can you think of another way? You could do the almighty X. That'd be kind of weird to have triangle-shaped gardens, but you could do it, and they would all be the same size. Okay. Let's look at number 4. Lucy and Katie are coloring a circle together. Lucy colors more of the circle than Katie. So do they have equal shares? Noah? No. How do you know? Because equal means the same, and if somebody did more, they're not the same. Is there only one way to show equal shares on a circle? Explain. I don't know, guys. That's a toughie. Let me get a circle on my page here, and we'll see what we can come up with, okay? Is there only one way? Trying to find a circle. Oh, here we go. I'll trace this. Flarp noise putty. I confiscated from somebody. All right. So I have this circle. What's one way I can divide it evenly? What? Emily? Like an X, right? Is there really another way?
Yes.
What? Like what? Connor?
You cross and then you put an X.
Yeah, but that's just the same way. It's just turned. See?
Yeah, but now you add.
No.
Use the marker I said, Connor.
It says. Oh, I'm sorry. It said 2, not 4. We did 4. To draw 2 equal shares. I don't think there is more than one way.
I only did this.
Because if we do that, there's 2 equal shares. And if we do that, it's the same thing. And if we do that or that or that, what's the other way, Lily? Yeah, but if I go across, it's the same thing. It's just a different angle, see? I think there's only one way to divide it in half.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, friends, that's it for today. Have a wonderful afternoon. We'll see you later.